John, so how is life as a retired fighter? Have you taken to it easy as well? Because I know that you obviously had a couple of big fights at the end, but we also know that giving up fighting is a very, very hard drug to give up.
No, it is very tough, and I'm thankful that early on in my retirement, Tony said, like, can you just go and run the gym for me for a day? And I came in and Maisie Rose was here and Jimmy Sains, and it was like walking through the door back home, and it was like they took the piss out of me, and we just got off from there. So I'll always be thankful to Tony for, I don't know if he needed to be anywhere or just said, like, I'll let John run the gym today, let him do me a favour. And the way them two just not even welcomed me back, but it was just like starting again, and it was like
a very quick transition.
Yeah,
right?
Very quick transition. They made it easier for me, like just being around old friends. So I'll always be thankful to them too, especially for that. Because
was it something you have been concerned about giving it up and how it feels? Because you know, obviously Tony would have told you guys want to keep coming back and giving it one more shot and seeing what's left and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I think it's easy to retire, but I think it's harder to stay retired. I think the lure of now the Saudi shows and the big money and just one more roll of the dice, and you never know when that is one step too far. So I'm happily retired. I'm happy to do my bit of work in the gym, get home and see my kids and be with my missus, and life's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Given the career that you had, and obviously there was obviously a famous near miss with Callum up in Liverpool where you nearly got crowned as champ, are you satisfied with the way everything shook out? You had the massive night with Canelo. We could handpick about any sort of any night of about a dozen or 10 big fights that you had, but are you satisfied, or do you think that you deserve more from the sport, or have you left up, if you're in gambling parlance, are you higher, you know, in terms of have you beaten the house?
I feel like I've beaten the house, yeah. I feel like I struck gold. Listen, we could all say we wanted more and could have done more, but listen, there's people that have been in boxing that are a lot better than I ever was and left with a lot less than I did. So I'm fortunate, I'm thankful for what I got out of boxing and what the life boxing gave me, first and foremost. I travelled the world with it, met so many fantastic people. There's so many countries I can go to in the world now and see old friends that I've sparred with, met through boxing. It's like there's so many. Yeah, I could go to Mexico and speak to people that I've meet up with them, and America, Italy, Poland. I mean, it's great. It's been fantastic. And
obviously you're here in good health, and I know that you had a recent visit here from Nick Blackwell, right? So yeah, it's a stark reminder of the gamble that you play if you do keep rolling the dice.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's great to see Nick in person, and I think you see him on social media and he looks like he's doing well, but you see him in person, he seems so much better, so much more alert, so much more with it, and listen, he's there a lot more than people realise. I think he's doing fantastic. He's got a good partner, and they're fighting it all the way.
Do you have an achievement in your career that you're most proud of?
I think just backing myself, never giving up. There was times when I could have walked away from it and people would have gone, well, you give it a good go, but I didn't. I came back, took myself from the situation with Callum Smith at a terrible time with the COVID and the lockdowns and whatnot, and stuck to it and got myself back into title contention, fighting the biggest name in the sport.
Yeah, and I suppose I was teeing you up for that Canelo thing, right? Because going the distance with Canelo in Mexico, where I think people thought that you were almost a keep busy fight for him, waiting for a big fight, and giving him, like, he had his hands full with you, and obviously there was triumph for you there, not just going the distance, but going the distance with severe injury as well, right?
Of course, yeah, and I think that just, I want to be a trainer where I can go to people, look, I don't want to tell them things and they go, right, well, listen to him because he's been there, he's done it himself. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be telling them to run through walls and not having done it myself. Like, if you need to bite down and push through because you still got a shot in this game, then do it. And listen, I've stood there toe to toe with one of the greatest pound for pound fighters out there, nose broken in the second, and pushed him to the 12th final round. But I know now I can call on that in the future with fighters I train and just say, look, now you've got to dig deep, now you've got to pull through and it's going to hurt today, but tomorrow's another day.
You know, we're here on farmland in Essex. How far away does it feel from that blood-soaked ring in Mexico when you had Canelo bearing down on you, and how pleased does that make you to be out of it? But also, how satisfied with what you went through?
Listen, I miss it. Them big nights that being in Mexico wasn't scary like everyone said it would be. It was nice. The people were fantastic. Probably one of the nicest places I've ever been. People were so welcoming and made me feel so special. So it's nice to be back here in my home environment. But listen, I hold Mexico with fond memories.
And tell me, like, that Canelo fight, how much did it take out of you? I know we've spoken about this before, the Munguia fight, but having sort of climbed the mountain and overcoming so much and going the full distance with Canelo, how much did that take out of you physically and perhaps emotionally going into that Munguia fight?
I think physically, I think at the time I felt like I was going to be so much better for it, the experience and whatnot, but I think the experience at 25 would have been fantastic for me. The experience at 35 was not so good. It was tough on the body, and listen, we age for a reason, don't we? And I've got a lot of miles on the clock, and I think that last hurrah with Canelo was just probably one step too far. A lot of people say to me, why did you get up after the fifth? And it was like, I don't know, pride, something in the will to win, the pride to go on, and you can forever be called a quitter in this sport and forever tarnishes your reputation moving forward as a trainer. So there was never that bit of quit in me, but there's also that to fight another day, which might have been a sensible thing to do, but I stayed in there, took some stick, took some punishment, and yeah, went on to fight another day, but was well past my best.
How do you see his fight with Crawford going? I know that I've seen your brains being picked about this a few times.
Yeah.
Do you feel strongly about how he's going to go, or do you think it's a sort of 50-50?
No, I do feel it's 50-50. Like, if Terence Crawford's unbelievable. He's like, you're looking at two generational greats there. Terence Crawford's seen the blueprint of how to beat Canelo with Bivol. If he adopts a style like that, in and out, quick feet, which he's got, the switch hitting, he can punch with both hands. He can make it hard work for Canelo, but I do feel Canelo will walk him down. The sheer size of him, the strength, will probably wear Terence Crawford down.
It's been a few years since Canelo's stopped anyone though. You know, there's, and I don't know if you've seen this, but there's been this thing where people are now saying, oh, you know, power's not the last thing to go, because people lose their explosivity and that as they age, and maybe that Canelo's not this thunderous hitter that he was from a few years ago. Do you see that, or do you think he's got the power to take out Crawford, regardless of Crawford's size, but that Canelo's still got big power?
I think he has. He's probably not got the speed he once has, but he's got the accuracy, he's got the power. I think the speed with the power is where the knockouts come. But I think he can make it hard work for anyone, and he can, if he's not knocking you out, he's going to punish you.
So tell me, like, from the first bell, how do you see it going? Have you got it in your mind of how you think it's going to go?
I think Canelo's very smart. I see it myself firsthand. You see it with so many other opponents. The first round, he's going to have a look. He's going to throw out a few jabs, and you think, myself, I was thinking, oh, I slipped that, and I got my own jab off. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, but I think he lures you into a full sense of security. He's getting all that data from you. He's assessing how you react to his feints, to what he does. Then he reacts to it accordingly, and you can see that I was so eager to get my foot on the right side, on the outside of his, so I could get my hooks off and not give him the catch counter hook that he loves so much. And then that was fine with him. It was just right, I'm going to catch his hook, bring the uppercut through, and broke my nose and changed it in the second round.
And tell me about the guys in the gym now. So obviously Connor, I've seen George and Jimmy today, and how they're looking, and what do you think of the future for them? Let's go Connor first. Obviously you've got the rematch with Eubank Jr. So do you see that being another slugfest?
No, I think Connor will use his head more now. I think he let his heart rule him a bit that night. I think he'll be a lot more smart, he'll box a lot better, and I think he'll come away with a win there. Jimmy Sains, George Ryder, they're just joy to work with. Do you know what I mean? It's both at the same weight. I know it's strange, but they're just coming up one behind the other, and it's it's great.
Are they better than where you were at that point in your career?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're better. Just better all round, better athletes. I mean, the times they get on the track, the time they're performing. I think they're just better for the knowledge that Tony's got now and myself. Because listen, like early doors, at some point Tony's been experiencing things for the first time. Now he's done this so many times before.
By the way, just talking about Conor and Chris there, you said obviously you think Conor gets it this time. You couldn't say the other one. You couldn't say that Chris is going to win, though, could you, being part of this cap?
No, listen, I think I could give an argument for.
Yeah.
Listen, if Conor lets his heart rule his head again, then he can play into Chris's hands. But I think he'll be smart now. I think he's learnt from his lessons from last time. And listen, ultimately it was a very close fight. I mean, it come down to the final 2 or 3 rounds. And listen, as Conor being a smaller man going against the bigger, you'd expect him to fade from the weight of Chris leaning on and whatnot. But I think Conor would just be better prepared now. It'd be his second fight up at the middleweight. I think he might even come in a bit heavy himself and feel better and be able to impose himself.
But this is why it's fascinating as well, isn't it? Because you mentioned the weight there. Is obviously the argument could be the other way, that Chris was going to fade late because he'd struggled to make the weight.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Chris allowed Conor to work have his fight early doors, and Chris come on strong the second half of the fight and almost let Conor blow himself out with the big shots. And I mean, Conor was swinging them in from his hips, wasn't he, and like missing wildly. But I think Conor will listen to Tony more now and just go and try and box his ears off.
When you're involved ringside now with the fellas and Maisie and everyone else, what's the buzz like by comparison to you making the ring walks yourself?
But it's still there, still very good. I mean, I was out in New York with Ram Rally, and just to walk to the ring with her in Madison Square Gardens was something, being head coach. And it's great, like just to still feel the big nights, to feel the winning mentality, the spirit. And just not to have to be making weight myself now. It's nice. Tell them what to do and how to do it, but not do it myself.
Nice one. Thanks, John. Cheers, mate.